Included me in this panel. I got the chance to read the dissertation of Mr. Ade Faki Kurniawan, which I found very interesting. So thank you for educating me about the Wawachansei ritual, which I didn't know much about before reading the book. So the dissertation. So. I have two questions. The first one I think is not difficult to answer. The second one is a bit more complicated. So we start with the first one, which is easier. I want to refer to the section on the ritual for certain reasons, which starts at page 182, and which includes a very interesting subsection on Tolak Bala and driving out evil genies. So I wanted to ask you which spirits that actually are, because as we know in Indonesia and in Java in particular, we have a broad range of spirits like kuntilanak, gendruwo, tuyul. Yeah. So you just talk about spirits and genies here, but you do not specify which exactly that are. Yeah. And the Wawachansei is held to expel them from the house or not to let them in. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to know. And I also wanted to know whether the Wawachansei is only performed if ghosts, jinns, etc. Enter private houses, or do you also know of examples where it is performed, for example, like public buildings or apartment buildings or shopping malls? Or yeah? Did you get my question? Yeah. This is the first one.
Okay, thank you. Actually, Wawachansei, they utilize Wawachansei to expose any genie, all over genie. All over genie. When I asked some informant what kind of the makhluk gaib, or what the makhluk gaib can be expelled from the trees, from the big trees, for example, when they want to cut off, and also when they build new build of public building, for example, gedung sekolah. The school building, they also perform this ritual before they use that building. And why all over the spirit, they argue that Syekh Abdul Qadir Jailani can be defeated all the king of all makhluk gaib. You can read from the website. They are some part of how Syekh Abdul Qadir Jailani defeated the king of the king of Iblis, the king of the ghost.
But do you have special ghosts in Banten that we don't have here in Central Java?
Enggak punya kan?
Actually, Banten is it has gombel, but I don't bring one.
So there are special spirits in Banten.
I think it is same with the Japanese. It's
the same.
It's the same.
Okay. Okay, so let me come to my second question, which is less empirical, more theoretical, and might be a bit more difficult to answer. And this is your categorization of Muslims in Banten, and you chose 3 categories, as you also said in your introductory statement. Localist, moderate, and universalist Muslims. And you explained that on page 264 in your dissertation, where you start saying that usually Muslims in Indonesia are categorized as traditionalists or modernists, or as traditionalists and reformists, and that you do not want to follow that scheme, and you introduced that scheme of having 3 localist, moderate and universalist Muslims in relation to the Babacan Saya ritual. So can you explain a little bit more why you have chosen these categories? And I'm particularly interested in the difference between moderate and universalist Muslims.
I don't call the mainstream the categorize between moderate and traditionalist, reformist and traditionalist, because when I use this category into the field research of Babacan Saya ritual, for me it is quite, it is not easy to divide them into these 2 categories, traditionalist and modernist. And then I use the third one, localist, moderate and universalist. Localist who think and act as the existing local traditions, and moderate who know, who expert in religious, and they can divide it which one Islamic teachings and which one the Islamic cultures. And universalist is the group who want to make Islam in Indonesia as a one Islam. It is universalist Muslim. The one single cultural Islam.
Why are moderate Muslims in your categorization not universalist?
Because they do not force Indonesian or Bantenese people to take one culture, to take the universal culture of Islam. They do not force to do that.
Okay, so then the question would be, what is the universal culture of Islam? But maybe then the discussion goes on and on. I thank you for your answers.